The night Ewa's mother died, something strange happened. There was no rain, no storm, no thunder, just silence. The kind of silence that feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting. Ewa was only 8 years old, too young to understand dirt, but too old enough to feel it. The night the house changed, the warmth disappeared, the laughter faded, and her father became something else. Hello, my amazing viewers. If this is your first time passing through my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you never miss out any of my updates. Thanks for watching till the end.
The night Eva's mother died, the rain did not fall. That was what the elders said made it strange. No thunder, no wind, no warning, just silence, and a child who would never be the same again. Eva was only 8 years old when she watched the only person who had ever truly loved her take her last breath. That night, the house grew colder, quieter, and emptier. Her father tried, at first. He held her close. He spoke softly. He promised her things would be okay. But promises are fragile things. And grief has a way of changing people. Within a year, her father remarried. That was when Eva's real suffering began. Her stepmother arrived with a smile that never reached her eyes and a daughter who looked at Eva as if she were something dirty on the floor. Her name was Ataku, sharp-tongued, proud, and raised to believe she deserved everything Eva had lost. At first, the cruelty was small. Eva, sweep the compound. Eva, wash the plates. Eva, don't sit there. That place is not for you. But small cruelties grow. And soon, Eva became invisible in her own home. She woke before dawn, long before the roosters crowed. She fetched water from the stream while the morning mist still clung to the earth. She carried firewood heavier than her own body. She cooked meals she was barely allowed to eat. And every single day, her stepmother reminded her, "You are nothing in this house." Ataku, on the other hand, lived like a queen. She slept until the sun warmed her window. She wore the best clothes. She ate first. She laughed loudly. And when she was bored, she found amusement in Eva's suffering. Sometimes she would spill water just so Eva could clean it. Sometimes she would tear her own dress and blame Eva. And sometimes, she would simply watch, smiling, as her mother punished her stepsister. But Eva never complained. Not once. Because her mother had once told her, no matter how dark the world becomes, never let it change your heart. And so she endured. Years passed. Eva grew into a young woman, thin, quiet, but with a beauty that could not be hidden. Not the loud kind that demands attention, but the soft kind that lingers. The kind that makes people pause without knowing why. And that became a problem. Because Ataku noticed. And jealousy is a dangerous thing. One afternoon, as Eva returned from the stream, a group of young men passed by. One of them greeted her politely. She nodded, shy, and continued walking. But Ataku saw everything. That night, she whispered to her mother. "People are starting to notice her." Her stepmother's eyes darkened. "Then we must make sure they stop." From that day on, Eva's life became even harder. Her clothes were replaced with old rags. Her meals became smaller. Her tasks became impossible. And every time she looked in the mirror, she saw not herself, but the version of her they were trying to create. A nobody. Then one day, news spread through the village. The king's son was coming. Not just visiting, but searching. Searching for a wife. The entire village erupted with excitement. Girls prepared for days. Mothers planned. Tailors worked without rest. Ataku was determined. "This is my chance," she said, staring at her reflection. "I will be chosen." Her mother agreed. "But first, we must make sure Eva does not even step outside." On the morning of the prince's arrival, Eva was given a list of tasks so long it would take 3 days to complete. "Finish everything," her stepmother said coldly, "or don't bother coming back inside." Eva nodded. She didn't argue. She never did. But something inside her shifted. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to feel something other than quiet endurance. She felt hope. Not for the prince, but for herself. As the sun climbed higher, Eva worked tirelessly. Her hands ached. Her feet burned. Sweat covered her skin. But she didn't stop. And somehow, impossibly, she finished. Every task. Every single one. When she finally stood still, breathing heavily, the village drums were already echoing in the distance. It had begun. She looked down at her reflection in a small bowl of water. For a moment, she hesitated. Then she made a decision. She would go. Not to be chosen, but to be seen. When Eva entered the gathering, conversation slowed. Then stopped. Because even in her simple clothing, there was something about her. Something real. Something pure. The prince noticed. Not because she was the most dressed. Not because she was the loudest. But because she was different. He walked past every other girl. Past Ataku, who stood frozen, her smile cracking. And stopped, in front of Eva. "Who are you?" he asked. Eva lowered her eyes. "No one, my lord." He smiled. "Then why can I not look away?" For the first time in years, Eva smiled. Soft, uncertain, real. And in that moment, everything changed. Ataku's world shattered. That night, rage consumed her. "She stole this from me." She screamed. But her mother only said one thing. "No, she earned it." The truth had finally revealed itself. Days later, the prince returned. Not for a festival, not for a visit, but for Eva. And this time, there was no hiding her. The entire village watched as the girl they once ignored became the one they admired. As for Ataku, she learned a lesson she would never forget. That beauty without kindness fades. That pride without substance breaks. And that the girl she once mocked was always stronger than she would ever be. Eva left that house not with anger, but with peace, because she had never needed revenge. Her life itself had become the answer. And for the first time since that silent night years ago, it rained. The rain that fell that night did not stop by morning. It washed the dust from the earth, and carried whispers across the village. Eva had been chosen, but not everyone was celebrating. Inside the small hut she once called home, silence sat heavily in the air. Ataku had not slept. Her eyes were swollen, her pride shattered into pieces she did not know how to gather. "She bewitched him," she muttered, pacing. "There is no way he would choose her over me." Her mother sat quietly, watching her. For once, she had no defense to offer. Because deep down, she knew the truth. Eva had done nothing wrong. But Ataku was not ready to accept that. "I will not let this stand," she said suddenly, her voice hardening. "She may have fooled the prince, but she will not fool everyone." And with that, something dangerous began to grow inside her. Not just jealousy, but determination. Meanwhile, in the palace, Eva stood at the edge of a world she had never imagined. Everything felt too big. The walls, the people, the expectations. Servants bowed to her. Maids dressed her. Advisors watched her carefully, whispering when they thought she couldn't hear. "She is too quiet. She is too simple. She is not royal." Eva heard it all. And yet, she remained the same. Kind, gentle, unshaken. The prince, kind-hearted and observant, noticed her discomfort. "You don't have to change," he told her one evening as they walked through the palace gardens. "Not for them. Not for anyone." Eva looked at him, her voice soft. "I am not afraid of who I am," she said. "I am only afraid of losing it." He smiled. "Then you already understand what many here do not." But while Eva was finding her place, Ataku was making her move. Days later, she arrived at the palace gates. Not as a guest, but as a storm. "I have come to speak the truth," she shouted, drawing attention. "The girl you call Eva is not who you think she is." The guards hesitated, but the noise had already spread. Soon, the courtyard filled. And Eva was called. When she saw Ataku standing there, something inside her tightened. Not fear, not anger, but something deeper. A quiet sadness. "Why are you here?" Eva asked gently. Ataku laughed bitterly. "Don't pretend, Eva. You think you've won. You think wearing fine clothes makes you better than me." Eva shook her head. "I never thought I was better than you." "Liar." Ataku snapped. "You stole my chance." Eva stepped closer, her voice steady. "No, Ataku. I simply took the chance you never saw." The crowd murmured. Ataku's face twisted. "She is a servant. A nobody. She does not belong here." The words echoed. For a moment, everything went still. Then the prince stepped forward. "And what is it," he asked calmly, "that makes someone belong?" Ataku faltered. I was raised better. I am refined. I am worthy." "Worthy of what?" he interrupted. She had no answer. Because for the first time, she was being seen. Not for her beauty, not for her pride, but for who she truly was. And it terrified her. Eva looked at her, really looked at her, and what she saw broke her heart. Because beneath the anger was pain, years of comparison, Years of being taught that value came from being above others. Ataku, Eva said softly, you don't have to fight me. Ataku's voice cracked. Yes, I do, because if I am not better than you, then what am I? The question hung in the air. Heavy, raw, real, and for the first time. No one laughed at her. No one praised her. They simply waited. Eva stepped forward and did something no one expected. She reached out her hand. You are more than what you were taught to be, she said. But you will never find it, by trying to destroy others. Tears filled Ataku's eyes. But pride is a stubborn thing. She slapped Eva's hand away. I don't need your pity. And she ran. Out of the palace. Out of the moment. Out of the truth she was not ready to face. Time passed. Eva's place in the palace grew stronger. Not because she forced it, but because she earned it. Through kindness. Through patience. Through quiet strength. The people began to respect her. Not as the girl who was chosen. But as the woman she had become. And Ataku. She disappeared from the conversations. From the gossip. From the pride she once held so tightly. Until one day, she returned. But this time, she did not arrive with anger. She arrived with silence. Her clothes were simple. Her eyes were different. Less sharp. More human. I came to say something, she said when Eva stood before her again. Eva waited. Ataku swallowed. I was wrong. The words were heavy. Unfamiliar. But real. I spent my whole life trying to be above you, she continued. And in doing that, I became less than myself. Eva said nothing. Not because she didn't care. But because she understood what it took to say those words. I don't expect forgiveness, Ataku added quietly. Eva stepped closer. This time, when she reached out her hand, Ataku did not pull away. I forgave you a long time ago, Eva said. And just like that, the past loosened its grip. Ataku did not become perfect. She did not suddenly become kind overnight. But she changed. Slowly. Honestly. And that made all the difference. As for Eva, the girl who was once treated like nothing, became something far greater than anyone had imagined. Not because she was chosen, but because she never allowed the world to change who she was. And in the end, her greatest victory was not the palace. Not the prince. Not even the life she gained. It was this, that she remained Eva. The girl who endured. The girl who rose. The girl who proved that even in the darkest places, light can grow. And this time, when the rain fell, it was not a sign of sorrow, but of something new. Something clean. Something free.